The top news posts of November 14.
Friday, November 14, at 3:03 a.m. BBC apologizes to Trump over Panorama edit, but refuses to pay compensation. BBC. Good evening. The BBC has issued an apology to Donald Trump regarding an edit in its Panorama documentary. However, the British broadcaster is holding firm, refusing to pay compensation despite Trump's threat of a $1 billion lawsuit. Analysts are watching closely, suggesting the BBC is preparing to fight, rather than fold, under the former president's legal pressure. Friday, November 14, at 2:24 a.m. UK borrowing costs jump, stocks slide as speculation mounts over high-stakes budget. CNBC. Good evening. UK markets are turbulent today. Borrowing costs jumped and stocks slid amidst intense speculation over the government's high-stakes budget. Adding to the headlines, Labour's Rachel Reeves is reportedly abandoning plans to raise income tax rates. This key policy reversal is fueling ongoing budget speculation.
Friday, November 14, at 2:18 a.m. Russia's massive attack on Kyiv kills 4, injures 27. NBC News. Good evening. Kyiv has endured a massive wave of Russian drone and missile attacks, striking every district. The deadly strikes have killed 4 people and injured at least 27, sparking fires and damaging buildings. This marks day 1359 of the ongoing conflict.
Thursday, November 13, at 11:41 p.m. 10 years after the Bataclan massacre, Paris is still scarred by that night of terror. App News. 10 years since the horrific November 2015 Bataclan massacre and Paris attacks. France remains profoundly scarred by that night of terror, grappling with the enduring pain and the legacy of the Islamic State attacks. A decade later, the nation continues its journey to remember and heal.
Thursday, November 13, at 10:09 p.m. Oklahoma death row inmate found unresponsive in cell after being granted clemency on day of execution. CBS News. In Oklahoma, a death row inmate's life was spared by the governor just hours before his scheduled execution. But the story took a dramatic turn when the man was later found unresponsive in his cell.
Thursday, November 13, at 8:30 p.m. Blurred lines how Michael Wolff aspired to be part of elite circles. He wrote about The Guardian. The Jeffrey Epstein scandal continues to unfold, with new developments impacting political figures and elite circles. House Democrats have released fresh emails referencing former President Trump, adding to what late-night shows are calling Trump, Epstein law, and creating potential political danger. This comes as author Michael Wolff is noted for his own aspirations to the very elite circles he chronicles. And in the financial world, Goldman Sachs is standing by its top lawyer, Kathy Rumler, following the exposure of her emails with Epstein.
Thursday, November 13, at 8:26 p.m. Sheikh Hasina, ex-Bangladesh leader, says she's not guilty of crimes against humanity. BBC. Bangladesh is on edge ahead of a looming verdict in the trial of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Accused of crimes against humanity, Hasina steadfastly denies the charges. The nation has seen widespread protests and a surge in violence, including crude bombs and arson attacks, as tensions mount before the tribunal's decision.
Thursday, November 13, at 8:15 p.m. THC gummies and drinks face ban under provision in government spending bill. ABC News.com. Good evening. Congress is moving to ban many popular hemp-derived THC gummies and drinks. A new government spending bill includes a provision to tighten restrictions, effectively closing a Farm Bill loophole. This federal crackdown threatens a $28 billion industry, leaving businesses scrambling and local shops facing an uncertain future.
Thursday, November 13, at 7:26 p.m. Republicans tried to squelch the Epstein furor. Instead, they fed it. The New York Times. The Epstein scandal is snowballing, now forcing a major push for transparency on Capitol Hill. Republicans, who initially sought to squelch the furor, are now seeing it intensify, with Representative Lauren Boebert helping to force a House vote on releasing more files. As Congress faces growing pressure, Republicans are reportedly bracing for potential mass defections on that upcoming vote.
Thursday, November 13, at 5:52 p.m. As to remove tariffs on some products from Ecuador, Argentina, Guatemala, and El Salvador. CNBC. The U.S. is easing tariffs on key imports from Ecuador, Argentina, Guatemala, and El Salvador. The Trump administration announced new trade deals, specifically targeting products like coffee and bananas. This move aims to cut costs for American consumers as part of a broader affordability push.
Thursday, November 13th, at 5:51 p.m. Trump's next immigration crackdown will target Charlotte, North Carolina. A sheriff says App News. New tonight. The Trump administration's next immigration crackdown is reportedly headed to Charlotte, North Carolina. Border Patrol enforcement is expected as soon as this Saturday. The move has already caught Charlotte city officials by surprise, with Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools releasing a statement to parents. A local sheriff has confirmed the operation.
Thursday, November 13th, at 5:46 p.m. SoCal rain forecast intensifies record-setting showers flooding mudflows possible Los Angeles Times. Good evening. Southern California is bracing for an intensifying, multi-day storm system, with forecasts calling for record-setting rain. The region faces a surge in risk for widespread flooding, dangerous mudslides, and flash floods. Authorities also warn of potential tornadoes. Evacuations are underway in some areas. Stay informed and know your local forecast as this storm is expected to slam SoCal for several days. Thursday, November 13th, at 4:13 p.m. Texas A&M system approves policy to restrict faculty from advocating race and gender ideology. The Texas Tribune. The Texas A&M University system has approved a new policy impacting classroom discussions on race and gender. The measure restricts faculty from advocating for race and gender ideologies in lessons. Reports indicate professors may now require presidential approval for certain related topics.
Thursday, November 13th, at 1:44 p.m. 42 days how the US shutdown unfolded in key moments. The Guardian. Good evening. The U.S. government shutdown has officially ended after a record 43-day disruption. President Trump signed the funding bill, bringing a close to the longest closure in history. While federal services and agencies are slowly returning, things are not expected to be back to normal immediately. Notably, 6 House Democrats explained their decision to break with their party to help finalize the deal. Thursday, November 13th, at 12:36 p.m. Portable mortgages could break the housing market lock but do little for affordability. Realtor.com. Good evening. The Trump administration is reportedly actively evaluating new economic proposals, including ideas that could reshape the housing market. Among them, portable mortgages. While these could help break the housing market lock-in by allowing homeowners to transfer low interest rates, Realtor.com suggests they may do little for overall affordability. Also on the table, 50-year mortgages. This extended loan term is widely criticized as a bad deal by The Wall Street Journal and NPR's Planet Money, especially amidst falling real wages. These housing initiatives, along with potential tariff rebate checks, form part of a broader set of proposals from the Trump camp.